Today I'm going to show you how to create a journal entry in i21. Relatively simple. You go into General Ledger, General Journals, and you create a new transaction. Post date defaults to today, so it's the current date. The currency defaults to the currency that you're in, US dollars. If you're primarily a US company, it's going to show up there. The reverse date, this is the date that actually the transaction is going to reverse. So if you do want to create a reversing entry, you can put in the reverse date. I'm going to just put 4/1, which is 4/1. Now note, with my smart date feature, all I had to do is type 41. It knew I was in the current year. It went to April 1st because that's the only logical 4/1 combination rather than putting in slashes. Journal entry is created on save. I create a test that will show up, description that will show up in my reports. Reversing entry. I spell it right. Again, I can use Google Correct with spelling. Pretty simple, pretty nice integration to the web. Account ID, I put in my account ID. I could search it by account number, or I could just search it for all the expense accounts. Maybe I want to make a reversing entry here. I'm going to pick a second expense account, and I'm going to do a reclass here. I'm going to save that transaction. And now that transaction is in. Now, a couple things that you can see is you can see a recap, which is the way this transaction will post if I post it, right? And I can see a post history. So a post history is after it posts. It shows me details of when it posted and what the information was. So I'm going to go from this transaction screen after I've entered it, and I'm going to hit post. Now, as soon as I post that transaction, you'll note it's going to post this transaction, the one I'm on, which it auto-assigned a journal entry number, and it's going to create a reversing entry and post that as well in the following period. So pretty simple from that respect. Now, what I can do here is I can go into the post history and I can see, okay, this transaction this is the essence of the transaction. It's debiting a sales tax payable and reversing out of a specific purchases account. So pretty easy to see the post history in that specific tab. So that's cool. That's how you actually enter it. Now, the other pieces that we've added inside of i21 is the unpost. So if I've entered that transaction and it's incorrect, I can unpost it. We also have the duplicate. So that duplicate will make a copy of that specific transaction into a new transaction, and then I can repost that if I want. So I've taken that transaction, I've hit duplicate, and I'll show the description of the transaction. And I can change that description if I want. I can change accounts if I want on that transaction. So let's say I want to change the accounts that I'm hitting. I can save that transaction, and from there I can put in the amounts, $10 debit, $10 credit, and I can post that transaction. Now that, again, will go into the post history, so it's going to show that the transaction has been posted. Again, I can hit unpost here, and now then that transaction will be out of the actual general ledger, and again you'll see the post history. It was posted initially at 6:13 a.m. and it was reversed at a couple seconds later. So pretty cool from that respect. Simple, easy to enter transaction, and hopefully that helps you with actually entering transaction or duplicating a transaction.